All right, this flipped lesson, we're going to be talking about Mesopotamia. Where exactly is Mesopotamia? Where was it during its time period? And where could you find that location today? How and really why did civilization begin there? Mesopotamia has been referred to as the cradle of civilization. We're going to talk about why that location was chosen. Then we're going to dig a little bit into who are these Sumerians. Now, tomorrow you're going to take an assessment. It's 30 questions long. And after the assessment, I'm going to have a board set up for you so you can start looking and investigating a little bit on your own on who were the Sumerians. Now, Monday next week, we'll start looking at Mesopotamia. Why it was chosen, or why civilization was able to start growing from there, and we'll start looking at the Sumerians specifically. But if you remember back to where we've kind of began this journey in world history, we started with early humans in the Paleolithic period. They were nomadic. They followed their food. They chased their food around. Wherever it went, they went as well. Then we moved into Neolithic. This was the early human who learned how to farm, learned how to put seeds into the ground, and was able to grow food. Once they were able to grow their food, yes, they still hunted, but they hunted the animals that stayed around. They began to learn how to domesticate animals, and they began to use animals in their daily life with them. The change from Paleolithic to Neolithic, scientists have concluded, as well as archaeologists, that probably the biggest key to that change was the discovery of the use of fire. The early humans used fire to cook their meat, and as a result, they were able to get more protein out of their meat, and their brain size began to increase. As their brain size increased, they went from Paleolithic into Neolithic. Well, now we're looking at, once they're past having the small farm or having the small farming village, beginning to create civilizations. Now, you all created civilizations this week. And as you created those civilizations, you had cities and governments. You showed evidence of social structure. You showed evidence of a writing system or some form of education. And you showed evidence of religion. Each of the civilizations that we're going to start looking at now that we've moved past early humans and we're moving into more advanced societies and civilizations, are going to have some unique qualities. So we're going to begin today with Mesopotamia and the Sumerians. Okay, where is Mesopotamia? This region that you see here in the green is what is known as the Fertile Crescent. Modern day, you can see the Arabian Peninsula, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Syria, parts of Iran, Jordan. This would be present day Israel. You can see on the map it's referred to as Canaan. The Nile runs through Egypt. So this Fertile Crescent, what you're going to notice is that civilizations, these are all desert regions. They have to be on a water source, or in this case, the Nile River is a huge part of Egypt. For Mesopotamia, it is in what we know as present-day Iraq, and in present-day Iraq, you have a very rich, fertile land in the middle of the desert, supported by the Tigris River and the Euphrates River. We're going to talk about these different rivers and how they play an important role to the people of Mesopotamia. Today, this region is very contested. The United States, for example, fought a war for over a decade in Iraq. To the east is Afghanistan. There is a growing concern in current events for this region, and we'll spend a little bit of time next week kind of looking at what Mesopotamia has been and how current events today are making some of those differences. Okay, so Looking at your text, it begins to talk about the Sumerians in the first lesson of chapter 4. And we're talking about this region. Why did people settle in the Mesopotamia? The key is the river valleys. They were able, in the middle of the desert, to find a water source. And that water source would be able to help them farm, would be able to help them sustain life. And at that point, they would be able to begin building structures. They'd be able to begin having governments. Religion would be a big influence on the people of Mesopotamia, and they would begin to form what we would call a civilization as a result. Again, tomorrow after you finish your assessment, there will be an activity on Board Builder. If you don't get to finish it tomorrow, I'd recommend you look over the board on Board Builder over the weekend or on your own. We'll be using that board all of next week as a resource to kind of talk about what we see or how ancient Samaria is being formed. But this is our first evidence of city-states or more civilized groups, not just villages, not just hunting groups. So Samaria is what historians kind of look at as the earliest civilizations. All right, having watched this, you should be able to answer the question, where is Mesopotamia? If you can't, go back and watch again and see if you can relate where in the world today Mesopotamia is found. How and why, I should have added that in there, did civilization begin there? Think about how we define civilization. Why did they choose this area, better known as the Fertile Crescent? And who were the Sumerians? Tomorrow, like I said, after your quiz, you're going to have an opportunity to use Board Builder to learn a little bit more about the Sumerians.